Okay, we're going to take a spall of this Georgetown Flint here, and Georgetown's got a peculiar problem that you run into with some Texas Flints. It's going to be this Cortex. It's chalky. It's not very thick. So Georgetown's kind of like a miracle stone that way. It's easy to remove that Cortex because it's so thin. In order to do that, you just need, we don't want to lose much of our length. That's the first thing. You never want to lose much of your length. So what I've done here is I have beveled this, and I'm just going to skin that Cortex. And this material is nice enough to where a lot of times you can actually even produce something out of the skin Cortex. And so once you remove the largest part of it, notice again, I'm not losing any length. So that's what I have done. Now it's just a simple tap to remove what Cortex is left. So that piece is ready to reduce the rest of the way. Now what we're going to do, we're going to use our targeting method, and we're going to target. Our center plane runs through the center of this stone. We're going to find the parts that stick highest above the Cortex, and we're going to remove them first. This is a good candidate. The platform that I'm going to use, the center plane comes right through here. This platform is on the same side of the center line as the flake I want to remove, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to strike that off. That will remove the top, that ridge that was there. Sometimes that will leave you two other ridges to remove, and you can end up with something that has a semblance of some flatness. We're going to use our rule again. This ridge right here is as high as anything. We're going to bevel that down. Scratch it. Always scratch it if you're a beginner. Always. And we're going to remove that. Okay, we're approaching flatness on that side. Now we have to take off this other side. Since I don't want to reduce it from the end any more than I have to, I'm going to reduce this piece from the side, and that's going to mean beveling an edge so that I move the striking point onto this side of the center plane, because I'm going to remove my flakes from this side of the center plane. Now you can just strike it first right in the middle, or if you want to be a little more methodical, you can start at an end, and every strike you move your billet down and you use the ridge of the flake you just removed to strengthen the next flake. And what that does is it leaves you with a nice flat surface. Then you'll go back and see if anything is left a little higher than everything else. And you knock that off. Here I have, now this is our next target. Strike this from the end. You want to be careful from the end for two reasons. One is you don't want to lose any extra length that you don't have to. And number two is sometimes especially if your preform is brittle, if you strike it directly from the end, you'll snap the piece. So it pays to be really gentle when you do that. So I'll remove that ridge. Now I'm going to come over here. Now this ridge is our high spot. I bevel the entire edge whenever you can. It's good to understand how to bevel for one flake, but it's really nice to be able to bevel an entire edge at one time, because that's when you start getting really nice blades. All those thinning flakes applied from the same angle, side by side, equals a thin blade. So here we go. So as you can see how flat that is, only because those were removed sequentially. I started at one end and I moved down, and each successive flake had a ridge that was left by the previous flake scar. So we're close to preform on this one already. You see the flatness. You see how that edge works. You want to resist the temptation to just hit anything. Always be thinking about that center plane and make sure that you're keeping things confined. You don't want to make curved points.